Mario Kart 8 is a fantastic game, one of the best in the whole series. It released a little bit after the Switch itself in April of 2017, which was amazing to see, but even with how good it is, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was just a definitive edition of Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, which at the time was going to be 3 years old.
Not saying the deluxe release was just slapping the Wii U version on the Switch and calling it a day. A lot of great additions were made, like more characters, actual battle maps that were fun, adding a new battle mode game mode, and many smaller changes that improved upon the game. But it left people wondering, when would the next completely new Mario Kart game come out? We had Mario Kart Tour release, but that wasn't really the next Mario Kart game everyone was looking for. Finally, on February 2022, Nintendo would announce that they were making DLC for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. At the time, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was going to turn 5 years old, and the original Mario Kart 8 was going to turn 8 years old. So it shocked many, myself included, that we were going to get DLC in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. At this point in time, it wasn't odd to expect some sort of DLC to be put into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It already happened with a few smaller stuff, like adding support for Nintendo Labo and adding a Breath of the Wild costume for Link. But this DLC was different. It wasn't just a small little update. This would be a massive amount of content. They announced the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass, which would add more tracks to Mario Kart 8. This wouldn't come all at once though. They plan on releasing everything over the course of 6 waves. Each wave would include 2 cups, with each cup including 4 tracks. So each wave would have 8 tracks total. And over a total of 6 waves, we would see 48 additional tracks come to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This was insane to see. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was already 48 tracks as its total, but once the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass was released and all complete, that would double the amount of tracks in the game. The DLC is only $20. It was an incredible price for the amount of content. And if you have the Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass, it was completely free. My biggest upset was that we wouldn't see any additional characters being added, but with that many tracks being added, it was hard to really complain. Leading up to the release, people were calling out the visuals and how they seemed really bad, and didn't really match how Mario Kart 8 Deluxe looked. I think the maps look fine, but I feel it's more of the maps look really bad compared to base Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But if you were to compare them to Mario Kart Wii or Mario Kart 7, they're completely fine. Do I wish they looked better? Yes, 100%. Are they completely fine if the maps play well? 100%. Wave 1 would be released on March 18th, 2022, and it was amazing. I was so happy to see older Mario Kart tracks that weren't in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe be added. Some great tracks like Coconut Mall from Mario Kart Wii, Choco Mountain from Mario Kart 64, Shroom Ridge from Mario Kart DS, and Tokyo Blur from Mario Kart Tour. Wait, what the heck? Yeah, so they mentioned how they were going to add tracks from previous games, but remember how I mentioned how Mario Kart Tour would release after Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? But myself included wouldn't count it as the next Mario Kart game? Well, Nintendo sure does. A Mario Kart Tour map being added isn't terrible, as a lot of people haven't played the Mario Kart Tour tracks, so they're basically new maps to those people. However, the main reason why the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass was so cool was being able to see older maps come back and be released in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. However, if the tour maps aren't super common or bad, I don't mind them. That's why they kept the first wave covering all the games, like skipping Super Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo and Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube, and doing 3 Mario Kart Tour maps. Okay, I'm starting to have a problem with these Mario Kart Tour maps, and it's only the first wave. But, like I said, if they aren't bad, I don't mind them. Well, let's talk about these maps. Wave 1 would start things off with the Golden Dash Cup and the Lucky Cat Cup. Let's start with the Golden Dash Cup. Here, things kick off right away with a Mario Kart Tour map. Paris Promenade. This map at the start, I already thought was pretty weak. However, something cool was on the third lap. It was in reverse. That was actually a pretty cool feature, and I thought a bit better about this map shortly after it released, but thinking about it more now, the map is already pretty boring, and this feature doesn't save it from being boring. And I just think it's a very weak map overall. Toad Circuit for Mario Kart 7 is the second map. It's very simple, but very fun. No complaints. I guess the main complaint really would come from the visuals of the map, as this map in particular has every issue on the visual side that the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass maps suffer from. Now, I'm not going to cover the visuals on every single map, because I'll be like, whoa, the visuals on this map are a lot worse than base Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So from here on out, I'm not going to mention it again. Getting back on track, we have the track Choco Mountain from Mario Kart 64. This version has some notable changes from the N64 version, but overall, it's a solid track. Finally, the Golden Dash Cup finishes with Coconut Mall from Mario Kart Wii. Come on, it's Coconut Mall, one of the best Mario Kart tracks ever made. I guess my one main complaint would be that the cars near the end didn't move when it first came out, but since then they've updated the game to have them move. Not exactly the same as the original, but 100% better than them just not moving at all. The Lucky Cat Cup starts off with Tokyo Blur from Mario Kart Tour. This one, I can actually get behind. This is one of the best tour maps that's made its way into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Every lap starts off on the same road, but after a little while, it takes you on a different turn, leading to a different road for every lap. It reminds me a lot of those no laps, but are just a start to finish type map, like Mount Wario. The second map is Shroom Ridge from Mario Kart DS. An often forgotten map, and one I don't see talked about often, but a solid addition. Sky Garden from Mario Kart Super Circuit is the third map, and some of my most favorite maps to see remade are the ones from Mario Kart Super Circuit, and this one is no different. It's a great map. Finally, the Lucky Cat Cup finishes up with Ninja Hideaway from Mario Kart Tour. Most of the original maps from Mario Kart Tour are based off real-world locations, like Paris and Tokyo. That was the main thing that made Mario Kart Tour special, and completely stand out over the original Mario Kart games. But this one was just flat out a new map, but it was made in Mario Kart Tour. It's a map that could have potentially have been seen in a regular Mario Kart game. This is a great map, simple as that. There is a difference between how the real-world location maps are made and how the Tour original maps are made. And I feel all the ones that are completely original and not based off a real-world location are great. That's the end of Wave 1, and it was solid. I wish we could have seen some more older maps return and less Tour maps, but this was only the first wave, so I was thinking we'd get a lot of Tour maps early on because it was something new and cool, and then less later on. We still have 5 more waves to talk about. Let's dig in. Wave 2 would release on August 4th, 2022. And just like Wave 1, it would include 3 maps that are from Mario Kart Tour. It was only the second wave, and I was already getting tired of seeing so many Tour maps. However, if they are good, I don't mind. Wave 2 would have the Turnip Cup and the Propeller Cup. The Turnip Cup would start things off with New York Minute from Mario Kart Tour. This map was pretty special because it instantly went to my least favorite Mario Kart track, period. I think this map is honestly garbage. The second map from the Turnip Cup would be Mario Circuit 3 from Super Mario Kart. Extremely simple, but extremely fun. It's nice to see more simple maps be added, as it's nice not to have every map be complex. Kalimari Desert from Mario Kart 64 is the third map, and one I was really excited for. I was so ready for a great map to be added, until someone in development decided to pull a joke and have the lap go through the tunnel, and then forget to change it back. Tour maps like to change up the layout between laps, but now that the design is being put into older maps when they were completely fine as is, I'm not a fan of it. They would redeem themselves at the end of the cup with the fourth map, which would be Waluigi Pinball from Mario Kart DS. This map was already a classic in the DS original before the game was even released. I have no issues with this map, and it's easily one of the best maps ever made. The second cup would be the Propeller Cup, and it starts off with Cindy Sprint from Mario Kart Tour. Out of all the Tour real-world location maps that got into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, this one just sits in the middle. It doesn't do anything bad with how it's designed, but it doesn't do anything that really interests me. It just kind of exists. Snowland for Mario Kart Super Circuit would be the second map. I already said that Mario Kart Super Circuit maps are always nice to see brought back. The main reason I feel like this is since the original game had all the maps feel flat because of the hardware the original game was made for, seeing these newer maps in a newer game allows for these maps to have a lot more to them without taking away the identity. Mushroom Gorge from Mario Kart Wii is the third map in this cup, and Mushroom Gorge is a classic, fan favorite map. A map I loved in Mario Kart Wii, but in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, this map is just fine. I feel like the mushroom section has the mushrooms in odd spots, so if you're going too fast from using an item, you can completely jump over a mushroom, but then miss the next one. It can be solved by just not using an item at this part, but if you're falling behind, just not using a mushroom or a star because you'll fall off just keeps you further behind, and even further behind if you decide to use an item. The map isn't bad, just this isn't the best version of it. The fourth map from the Propeller Cup is Sky High Sundae from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? What's going on here? Sky High Sundae was a map made for Mario Kart Tour. However, the map released in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe first. This map is fine. I liked the map a lot more when it first came out, and I do still think it's great. I just don't think it's as great as a map when I first played it. The main reason is because of just how floaty the map feels. I don't mind it, but the map has a decent amount of areas to trick, which keep you in the air and unable to drive. So most of the map just feels like you're floating to the ground just to do a trick and then do it again over and over. Even with the complaints, I don't hate this map. It's fine. Just not as great as when I first played it. Wave 2 was honestly really hit or miss for me. The Mario Kart Tour real-world location maps were either garbage or boring, and the older tracks from the older games were redone in ways that flat out make them worse. But the maps that were great, they were really great. Wave 3 would be released on December 7th, 2022. At this point, I was just expecting almost half the maps to be from Mario Kart Tour. And I was right, but if they're good, I don't mind them. Wave 3 has the Rock Cup and the Moon Cup. The Rock Cup starts us off with London Loop from Mario Kart Tour. When I first played it, I wrote it off as another tour map. Not a terrible one, but it just kind of existed. But now, after I've had more time to play it, This one is one of the better ones, and I think with time, I've slowly grown to like it more and more. It's built just like the other Tour real-world location maps, but this one just plays a lot better. The second map is Boo Lake from Mario Kart Super Circuit. I've said it before, I like all the maps that come from the GBA game. It's a solid map. Nothing complex, but still has parts to make it interesting. It's just a solid map. Rock Mountain from Mario Kart 7 is the third map, and this map is just as good as it was in the original game. It's not the king of Mario Kart maps, but it's not bad either. Just another great addition. Finally, the fourth map of the Rock Cup is Maple Treeway from Mario Kart Wii. This is another classic map from Mario Kart Wii, just like Coconut Mall. My only complaint is something really small, and it's towards the end of the track. They used to have a net that you could do tricks off of, but now it's just a glider ramp. It's not the worst change, but I just preferred how it was before. The Moon Cup is the second cup in Wave 3, and it starts off with Berlin Byways from Mario Kart Tour. This is just another Tour real-world location map. It just has a lot of boring sections, and when the map starts to get interesting, it's just seconds away from ending. Not terrible, but not good either. The second map is Peach Garden from Mario Kart DS. I loved this map back on the DS. It was such a great map. One of my favorite parts was taking this right turn at this part in the course on lap 1, lap 2, and on lap 3. What? So, remember Kalimari Desert in Wave 2, how they changed up the map to be designed like a Tour real-world location map? Yeah, they did the same here. Lap 3 has the lap go to this new area for a bit, then just go in reverse around the track. I am not a fan of this change at all. This track could have easily been a classic in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but because of that one change, it just completely ruins the track for me. I feel they should have just added a reverse mode instead, and have the tracks drivable the other way, instead of changing a map like this. But the third map does help make up for this. Mary Mountain from Mario Kart Tour. This is a tour map, but it's like Ninja Hideaway, meaning all the laps are the same, and they are all good. This is a fantastic map, from start to finish. To close off the cup, the fourth map is Rainbow Road from Mario Kart 7. Already one of the best Rainbow Road maps, and it still holds true in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I have zero complaints. This is just a fantastic map. Wave 3 so far is probably the strongest wave. It had two bad maps, with one being a Tour real-world location map, and another being a classic map with new changes that make it worse. But the other 6, they're all great. There were a few additions added to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe during this update that are worth talking about, before we move on to Wave 4. Firstly, they added a feature where you can change what items appear in a custom race. So if you want to just have a race with only mushrooms, or even race with only blue shells, you can do that now. Another change was that if you got hit by lightning while gliding, it would no longer retract the glider, so you no longer have to fall, be picked back up, and then placed back on the track again. The final change was that they added an invincibility stat to the game. This is another hidden stat that can't actually be seen, but it was another way to give advantage to characters and carts, tires, gliders that weren't played a whole lot because they weren't considered as good. Wave 4 would release on March 9th, 2023, and Wave 4 would have 2 cups and a character. Wait, a new character? Birdo from Wave 4. Birdo has appeared in older Mario Kart games, but surprisingly, wasn't in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Out of nowhere, they just add a new character. It's not a character I'll play a whole lot, but I'm not complaining at all. Plus, Birdo has multiple colors you can pick from, which is cool to see. I want to see more characters added, so I'm happy with this addition. Wave 4 has the Fruit Cup and the Boomerang Cup. The Fruit Cup starts off Wave 4, and if you guessed the first map would be a Tour real-world location map, you'd be correct. Amsterdam Drift from Mario Kart Tour. This map just sucks. It's up there with New York Minute. Every new lap just makes very awkward turns and a very forgettable layout. This isn't a good map. But the second map was Riverside Park from Mario Kart Super Circuit. This was a great map. It's a short map, but it's a fun one. The third map is DK Snowboard Cross from Mario Kart Wii. A cool map in Mario Kart Wii, and a cool one in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I like it a lot, and it's a great addition to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Yoshi's Island from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the fourth map. Just like Sky High Sundae, Yoshi's Island is both in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and in Mario Kart Tour. However, this map released in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe just a little bit before it released in Mario Kart Tour, so I'd consider it a completely new map for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This plays a lot like a typical map you would see in a main Mario Kart game, and because of that, this map is fantastic. Between the visuals looking great and the unique details like the coins and sounds that play on the map, this is a fantastic map from before the countdown starts to when the results screen closes. The Boomerang Cup is the second cup of Wave 4, and it begins with Bangkok Rush for Mario Kart Tour. This is an alright Tour real world location map. I don't have any complaints about it, but I don't have anything I love about it. This map is fine. Above average, I would say. Mario Circuit from Mario Kart DS is the second map, and it's another simple map that's not too simple that it becomes boring. A fine addition to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Waluigi Stadium from Mario Kart Double Dash is the third map of the Boomerang Cup, and what a map to have. This map is fantastic. I mentioned I wouldn't talk about visuals anymore, but just like Yoshi's Island, compared to most of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course maps, this is a really good looking one. But it doesn't just look good, it plays good. More than good, it's great. Finally, the fourth map is Singapore Speedway for Mario Kart Tour. This map is just average, potentially leaning more towards weak than strong. I'm not a fan of this one, but I wouldn't call it bad. Want to know what I'm not really a fan of? I'm not a fan of how half of these maps weren't even based off old maps being brought back from older games. Yoshi's Island is an exception. Kind of. Because it's a new map, but if you're on the side that considers Yoshi's Island a pseudo tour map, that's 4 tour maps in a single wave. By this point, I was getting tired of seeing tour maps. I mean, I already was from the first wave, but at this point, it was getting out of hand. I had no issues with the tour maps that weren't based off real-world locations, but the amount of tour real-world location maps that were getting released, and how many of them were just or flat out bad, I wasn't a fan of. Wave 4 did do some changes to the main game of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which I was a fan of. They pretty much made a lot of the less played characters and the less used kart and tire parts a bit better. I always liked this approach to balancing. Instead of just making what's really good worse, they make what's not as good better. This led to seeing a lot more characters online, which was nice to see. Wave 5 would release on July 12th, 2023, and would include 2 cups, nothing surprising. However, just like Wave 4, it would include a new character. Unlike Wave 4, however, it would not just include 1 new character, it would include 3. All 3 would be returning characters. Well, kind of. PD Piranha, Kamek, and Wiggler would be the 3 new characters added to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, with PD Piranha first being playable in Mario Kart Double Dash. Kamek, however, is mentioned as being a Mario Kart Tour character. Personally, I considered Kamek being a returning character from Mario Kart 64, as he was originally planned for the game. Wiggler would return from Mario Kart 7. This was a solid lineup of additions to the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe character roster. The 2 cups for Wave 5 would be the Feather Cup and the Cherry Cup. Is the first map of the Feather Cup a Tour real-world location map? The first map of the Feather Cup is a Tour real-world location map. Athens Dash. This one is pretty good. I feel the way this map blends the different laps together, it makes it play a lot better than some of the other Tour real-world location maps. This one is pretty good. Daisy Cruiser from Mario Kart Double Dash is the second map from the Feather Cup, and it's a great map. Daisy Cruiser is based more off the version that appeared in Mario Kart 7 and not the original, as the pool in the original was considered out of bounds for some reason, but since Mario Kart 7 introduced underwater driving, it allowed for you to just drive through the water. I always thought that change was a minor addition, but a great addition to Daisy Cruiser. This is a great map to have in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The third map of the Feather Cup is Moonview Highway from Mario Kart Wii. I was always a sucker for this map. I love it a lot, and I love that it's now in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. No complaints, just a fantastic map. Squeaky Clean Sprint from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the fourth map of the Feather Cup, and this one is another Yoshi's Island situation where it was released in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but appeared in Mario Kart Tour shortly after. Just like Yoshi's Island, this is a great map. I think Yoshi's Island is the better map, but this one is great. I have no complaints about it. The Cherry Cup kicks things off with Los Angeles Laps from Mario Kart Tour, and I gotta say, this is a great Tour real-world location map. I don't have any complaints about this one. I don't mind its addition. The second map of the Cherry Cup is Sunset Wilds from Mario Kart Super Circuit. Simple map, good map. That's all I gotta say. Well, that's not true. This map in its original form has a cool day and night thing, but it's absent in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for no reason. I wish it appeared. Outside of that though, it's a good map. Koopa Cape from Mario Kart Wii is the third map from the Cherry Cup, and come on, it's Koopa Cape. Of course it's gonna be good. Actually, my only real complaint is I feel the changes make it worse than the Mario Kart Wii version. I wish it has more from the original version, but I don't hate this version at all. It's still a great map from start to finish. Vancouver Velocity from Mario Kart Tour is the fourth and final map from the Cherry Cup, and as a Canadian, I legally have to say this map is great. But honestly, this map is actually great. My only complaint is this small section here on lap 2, as it just feels weird the first time you experience it, but after that, it's not as bad. Outside of that though, this is a great map, and one of the better Tour real-world location maps. This may be the strongest wave out of all of the waves so far. Every map added in Wave 5 is great, and the worst map out of the 8, being Athens Dash from Mario Kart Tour, isn't even bad. It's pretty good. Plus, we got 3 additional characters that are all great, and some more improvements to lesser used characters, carts, and tires. But is this the best wave? I don't know. We still have one more wave to go. Wave 6, the final wave of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's Booster Course Pass. It would be released on November 9th, 2023. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 new characters got added in Wave 6. Diddy Kong, a character that should have been in the game to start with, finally gets added to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. A great addition. Funky Kong, a fan favorite from Mario Kart Wii. Another great addition. Pauline from Mario Kart Tour. Out of everything that's odd about Mario Kart Tour, the character selection isn't one of them. Pauline is a great addition. Finally, Peachette from Mario Kart Tour. She isn't the character most people were wanting, but with how many other great characters were added, I have no problem with her being added. Another great addition. Wave 6 kicks things off with the Acorn Cup, and the first map of the Acorn Cup is Rome Avanti from Mario Kart Tour. A Tour real-world location map. Nothing surprising, but is the map good? Well, it's honestly pretty good. It's not terrible. This section is a bit odd since the amount of turns and how they put up the red direction arrows everywhere, but outside of all that, it's a great map. I like it. DK Mountain from Mario Kart Double Dash. This map is great. I really enjoy Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I have no issues with it. Or even small stuff that I don't like about it. It's just a great map from start to finish. Daisy Circuit for Mario Kart Wii is the third map of the Acorn Cup. This is a less talked about map for Mario Kart Wii, but not because it's bad. It's just because Mario Kart Wii has so many great tracks. So, does it mean this map isn't good? Not at all. This is a great map in Mario Kart Wii, and it's a great map in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I like it a lot. Finally, the Acorn map comes to a close with Piranha Plant Cove for Mario Kart Tour. Unlike Sky High Sundae or Yoshi's Island, where they were obviously made within Mario Kart Tour, but they also had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the mind, this map came to Mario Kart Tour first. But it's also weird because it's designed like a Tour real-world location map, with every lap being different. But the important question is it good? And the answer is yes. This map is good. I'd even say it's great. The Spiny Cup is the second cup of Wave 6, and the final cup of the whole Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass. The Spiny Cup starts things off with a Tour real-world location map, and the final one, Madrid Drive from Mario Kart Tour. This one is one of the better Tour real-world location maps. This one is just really fun to play. It makes for a nice addition to the map selection. I like it a lot. From here on out though, it's only old maps. And with the second map from the Spiny Cup, we have Rosalina's Ice World from Mario Kart 7. This map, I always feel people forget about, which really sucks because this is a fantastic map. My favorite Mario game is Super Mario Galaxy, so I also love the Super Mario Galaxy related decorations around the map. This map is fantastic. Bowser Castle 3 from Super Mario Kart is the third map of the Spiny Cup. The second last map of the whole Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was always lacking in Bowser Castle maps, and it's nice to have this one. Not only is this a fantastic Bowser Castle map, it's just a fantastic map. This is a very nice addition to have. I love this map. Rainbow Road from Mario Kart Wii is the final map from the Spiny Cup, and the final map from the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass. This map is just fantastic. Mario Kart games have always closed out the game with a Rainbow Road map, and this is the Rainbow Road map. It may not be the first Rainbow Road map to be created, but it's probably the best one created, and the perfect map to bring the DLC to a close. I love this map. Wave 6 would also a few new additions to the game, like adding a music player, adding room IDs for a custom room, a handful more balance changes, a ton of new Mii costumes, making item boxes spawn a little bit quicker, and making an adjustment to how item boxes give out items for using the same one over and over again, to prevent a strategy called bagging. The strategy would have the player stay behind to get really good items, and then use those really good items to catch up and then get first place. Honestly, we will have to see how this fully changes the strategy, but if it does fully indeed remove the strategy, I'll be happy. It made playing online feel a lot less fun because if you were playing in the same lobby as someone using the strategy, it didn't really feel like you could do anything to stop them. Overall, the best wave in my opinion is probably Wave 5 or Wave 6. The sheer amount of quality maps between the two of them, and the additional additions like new characters, just make these two waves the strongest and stick out. If I had to give it though, I'd give it to both 5 and 6. I'm sorry, I can't pick one.
The Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass added a ton of additional tracks, and even some additional characters. And even though there were a few tracks that I wasn't really a fan of, there were way more that I was a huge fan of. There were some maps that I consider bad, and even one that I called just garbage. But even though I'm not the biggest fan of those maps, I'm not against them being in the game. They're good enough to make them worth playing from time to time, so I don't mind having them. And even the ones I don't really like, the ideas are there. There's some great ideas, so they could easily be expanded upon in Mario Kart 9. Or in the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass 2. I don't know. Whatever comes first.